Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of 16 Legs to Sea. It was an eventful day. We originally started out the day thinking that we were going to anchor up at Cape Sable, East Cape Sable, and then finish up the run to Key West tomorrow morning. But one of our slipmates said that some severe westerly winds were going to be coming and really kicking up a lot of waves, and it was going to be really windy at night. And so we, instead of running down the coast past the Everglades and into Cape, what's Cape? Cape Sable?
Sable.
Yeah, sorry. We had decided to make a straight across run from Marco Island straight south, basically across the Gulf of Mexico. And that was an interesting run. Yeah.
It was pretty beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was actually really spectacular. We were out of cell phone service for a good 2 or 3 hours of the 6 hours that we were out there.
There was nothing much but to clear your mind and look out there and suddenly yell, "Crab pot, port."
Yeah, crab pot. Yeah, so we were warned our route, our original route to run right across the Gulf of Mexico straight south was, and Florida Bay and all that, was definitely littered with crab pots. And they were not lying. They were very, very true. And so they had these stone crab pots. And basically all they put is a little buoy, and they're different colors on the surface of the water to indicate that there is a crab pot underneath that.
Those can be bright orange or white or dark navy blue to match the water.
Yeah. So they can be a little bit tough to see at times. And they generally run in strings, like they drop them like 30, 40, 50 of them. So they'll run like a whole string. So you'll come up to them and then you'll see them like all of a sudden to your left, or, you know, off to your port, whatever. And then you realize that they're going to be like crossing your path. So then you got to pick a spot to cross it. So the real danger here is that you run over one of these crab pots. Their line that is attached to the cage underneath then gets tangled up in your prop, and then you have a problem where you can't run your boat until you cut that rope off, which means that somebody has to go into the water with like an X-Acto knife or a knife and cut that rope off of your prop.
And Siobhan didn't want to do that.
No, Siobhan was not willing. Yeah, that is true. That is true. And I wasn't super willing either. So Janine was a lifesaver because my eyes apparently don't pick up the crab pots as well as they should. And so all day for 6 hours, we would have these runs, you know, we just run along 22, 23 and you get lulled miles an hour, and you get lulled into this confidence like, oh, we're just out here and the boat's going to run and we're just going to, you know, just going to cruise. And all of a sudden, you know, you crab pot, you know, and so you're pulling the throttles back and you're spotting it and you're trying to, you know, to gap it. They're generally spaced about, you know, 30 to 50 feet apart. So you're trying to, you know, go down the middle of them. Sometimes they're running right next to you and they're like, the line is running, you know, parallel to you. And then all of a sudden it'll cut right in front of you. And then there's another different colored ones that are, you know, zigzagging and crossing across your lines. So literally, I mean, I don't think I'm exaggerating. We probably came out of the throttles 60, 70 times. Probably, right?
Yeah.
And some of them were a little bit hairy. We came really close to a couple of them to scooping them up. But again, thanks to Janine's eyes, you know, we avoided them all day. You know, so I'd come out of the throttles, and a couple of times we coasted and, you know, just stayed in neutral until we drifted past. Got really close to a couple of them, no question. It was terrifying at times. It was like the serenity of being out in the middle of the ocean and just cruising along and, you know, enjoying it. And then, you know, 7 seconds of terror, you know, God, there's a crab pot. So, you know, and so, it was awfully interesting. At times it was like, you know, you'd get up on plane for 30 seconds and then you back down. So yeah, the theme of today was crab pots. I am tired. I helmed for 6 hours today. Janine was on point for 6 hours today. And I mean, if I didn't have her, I'd still be out in the Gulf with, you know, crab pot wrapped around my prop for sure. Yeah, for sure. I'd still be out there, and you guys wouldn't care. You wouldn't care about me. But you probably care about her. So we're in Key West, and we're happy. It's a beautiful night. We're, for some reason, chilled at 68 degrees right now, 67. Perhaps we're just really tired. So I know you're probably not very happy with us that we're 67, 68 degrees weather and we're cold. But that's what it's about. Other than that, I think we had another seasick kitty. We think it's Butter. And he just did one throw up and then he was fine. Siobhan did not. Seth did not. And Seth has the best eyes of us all because he can spot a crab pot like nobody.
Yeah.
Which is awfully helpful. So he was up on the bridge for at least the last chunk, which really helped out, and calling them out for us. And you know, he was just seeing stuff that way further away than we would have.
He was calling them out when it got a little bit harder, and A, my eyes were probably getting fatigued at that point, but B, they were not in lines as much anymore. There were some single pots, or there were just patches of a couple of them, and so they were harder to see when there's just one or two of them, as opposed to a line where you can start to look at the whole line. Yeah, when they had the line, you can kind of pick them up, like you just check port and starboard, and you just keep looking starboard and port, and you can start picking them up, and then you know that they're spacing them, you know, like I said, 30 to 50 feet apart, and so you get that feel for where it's coming from. Whereas sometimes they're just kind of dropping them randomly, and those are much harder. And all of a sudden, you just kind of come across, you know, like where the line started, or you know, where they dropped, you know, 5 or 6 in an unusual pattern, trying to, you know, land it on a crab fishing hole or whatever. And those are certainly more harrowing when you stumble across one of those patterns. I think that's about all we got for tonight. We aren't going to do that route again. Nope. We're going to go up the normal way. We're going to work our way up the Keys when we head back out. The plan, hopefully, is to get over to the Dry Tortugas from here. Tomorrow will be a down day. We're going to just kind of take stock and let everybody recover from this. We're actually in here a day early anyway. Actually, we're in here 2 days early, right? We were supposed to be here on Sunday. So we've actually got a couple days. So we're actually going to maybe explore Key West a little bit. It's supposed to be historic. You know, have a little bit of fun. It's definitely a party environment in this marina. Yeah, it feels a little bit more like Chicago.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, kind of like everybody's kind of down here, kind of like cutting loose.
Diversity Harbor.
Yeah, Diversity Harbor kind of meets fishing tournament. I think that's the best definition I could come up with. Anyways.
Yeah. Don't forget all the romantic sailboats out there, too.
Yes, all the romantic sailboats, yes. Yeah, I don't know how romantic they really are.
Yeah, well, they're, you know.
Yeah, they're kind of swashbucklers. Yeah, this has been another edition of 16 Legs to Sea. We appreciate you following along. I'm Captain Matt. This is Captain...
Oh, I'm a captain now?
Of course.
Janine.
Oh, docking the boat. Before we forget. So, super tight slip. Super tight fairway. Super tight everything. Like, after...
With a big, huge yacht blocking the whole shebang.
Yeah, like you come into the harbor and then you've got and there's like a 200-foot yacht on like their main dock. And as you come, and like it's sticking out into the fairway. So you don't want to rip, you know, half of your boat on the side of it. So you're trying to get as far down the fairway as you can. But the problem is that fairway is very narrow to begin with. And so you're like avoiding that. Then you come down and the fairway gets even tighter as you come into where you're going to slip it. So I, you know, turn to starboard and it's like, so we have a 50-foot boat and the fairway is maybe 60 feet wide. So, you know, boats don't stop and start on a dime. It's not like your car. And, you know, it's 48,000 pounds of inertia going through the water with wind and current and everything else impacting it. So, and this was a double-sided slip, and I've literally got about 8 inches on either side of the slip. So to back it in was an absolute challenge, and she did great. She got all the lines done. She had both bow and stern and port and starboard all taken care of. She had the fenders down, but it was certainly a tight fit when we got in there. And then she threw the line got the line to the dock master helping us out. But man, it was a tight fit coming in here. Whew. I mean, I had to spin it in the fairway with literally 5 feet behind the swim platform and 5 feet in front of me. And it was literally just, you know, you didn't want to, if I had screwed up 5 feet one way or the other, I was either buying somebody's fenders or smashing my swim platform or something else. So luckily no damage done. We're tight. We'll be in here for a couple of days. And then hopefully we'll get a weather window where we can go to the Dry Tortugas. I'll try that again. English. This has been another edition of 16 Legs to See. We're signing off. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.